Absolutely. All right, man. Who's your what's your third thing in the Western Conference?
I'm
In the
noticing right
NBA?
now about Nikola Jokic's early MVP campaign. Now, I don't think that he is doing this necessarily. Um, I think that he's doing it out because he feels like it's a necessity to this
Yeah.
youngest team who is definitely underwhelming at best. But yet he is playing out of his mind, and it looks like if he's able to keep this up, that he can possibly win his fourth league MVP. Was me coming into the season, I'm like, yeah, you know what? No way in hell he's gonna win MVP. I had either Shea or Luca. I was gonna go with Shea because I think that that the Thunder would have a better record, and I thought Shea should have got it last year. So I'm like, there's no way Joker couldn't win it again. But man, if he plays like this and they actually finish in the top 5, hell, maybe even 6, because they won a lot. He won it before as a 6 seed. I'm
Yep.
against that,
Yep.
but whatever. If he win it, if he could possibly win it again. The fact that he's doing like what he's doing, like having to score, Joker's more of like getting a feel for the game, getting everybody involved, scoring when he needs to, or picking his spots. But now he's just going
Yep.
out to the mentality of having the offensive mentality to go out and score and put the team in his back. I do think that shows just how great he is. And I
Yep.
do think it's a negative reflection on the Nuggets organization. The failure to not the failure to appreciate Nikola Jokic as being a top 15, 20 player of all time in his prime, and you're not trying to capitalize on that window, but trying to be cheap and go the route of trying to build through the draft, play the young guys more, letting the likes of KCP walk away, and then in the previous offseason, Bruce Brown, Jeff Green. So I do think that they are like at fault for this right now. Well, how the Nuggets have looked so far, but Nikola Jokic is playing out of his mind. I'm just looking at. I think we're seeing somebody in real time. Easily the best player of the 2020s so far. Not even close.
He's
So
putting his stamp on it with 3 MVPs, potentially 4 MVPs, a Finals MVP, an NBA championship.
oh yeah, and one of those Western Conference MVPs if you want to count that.
Yeah. If you want to just add that to it, but nah, he's been killing in just the last week. He's gotten 48 and 56 back to back games. So over the last 5 games, he's averaging 39.4 points per game, 13.8 rebounds, and 8.8 assists. Like what? And he does it because, and there's times when he doesn't want to score, right? Like we've all seen this. He's averaging 32 points this year. Like he's putting the team on his back, and we've seen this, especially when Jamal Murray was out and Michael Porter Jr. was out. Those couple seasons ago when he was a 6 seed and won the MVP. He was doing this stuff. He was doing that. Yeah. He was having these nights where he had this type of production. But now it seems like he's upped it because he knows his team needs it. Jamal Murray, even though he's getting usually around his point total, nearly I think he's at 17 points per game. Underwhelming this season, just doesn't look right, doesn't look himself. Michael Porter Jr. is averaging nearly 20, but just inconsistent a little bit and not really there. And I'm disappointed in him the most because I'm like, this is the part where you should be taking Jamal Murray shots, and especially with the loss of KCP and other guys like that, it's like, yo, you should be trying to get as many points as you need. We've seen Russell Westbrook. He's had some good nights, had some great nights, had some bad nights. But he's been productive for them, but it's just not enough around.
Not enough shooting.
Around
Joker.
Yeah. And it's sad because it's like even Aaron Gordon has been out for a while, has come back, but it's just like the Denver Nuggets are in a weird space, right? Because they paid Michael Porter Jr., they paid Jamal Murray, they paid Aaron Gordon, and it's like they're spending money. But the rest of the roster is suffering right now, right? They got Russell Westbrook on the minimum, and it's like, okay, that's cool, whatever. But it's like the rest of those guys where you lost a Jeff Green, you lost a Bruce Brown the past couple seasons. You recently just lost KCP to Orlando. It's like, okay, you're losing staples of your team that were productive and knew what to do. And now you're really trying to rely on Christian Braun and Peyton Watson. And I think the other guys, can't remember the other guy's name who's on that team. But you're relying on guys that I can't even remember. Like I'm watching night to night, and it's like it's getting slim. Yeah. I think the other night when they lost to the Wizards, I think the next guy had 11 for them. Let me check.
Yeah, that was a bad loss. Even though with Murray and Gordon in play, it's like you got to beat the Wizards, man.
Julian Strawweather, this is who guys you're relying on. You know what I mean? So it's definitely like I don't want to say they're failing him. But technically they are, because technically they are spending money, but the depth of the roster isn't there. They're not building around Joker, and I think even Mike Malone said he was pissed that they didn't keep KCP. He was like, "Yo, like we're missing that guy." He's come out and said that.
There's tension between him and the front office, absolutely.
And this is where another thing too. It's like, yo, if they have a tough season, or I know he has some leeway with that championship, but now are they going to start looking at him to move on from him? And it's like, that's what these teams usually do. And I don't think that's the case. We saw that with Mike Budenholzer. We've seen that with Nick Nurse. We've seen teams move on from these coaches when it starts getting a little rough, that they move on from these coaches. And it's just like, I hope that's not the case, because Mike Malone is solidified in Denver for that championship run, being a coach there all those years. And it's like, they'll be stupid to do that. So usually they get rid of the coaches when the team is not working. And it's like, I don't think that's the case here. That should happen. But yeah, Joker's just another level. You can put him on at any time and watch his highlights, and it's just like, how is he doing this? To put up this production and the volume he's doing it at, that we're not used to. He doesn't want to do that, right? Like, it's kind of weird. It's kind of like a LeBron thing. Like, you don't think of him as a scorer and stuff like that, but when they start scoring and start putting it on, it's like, yo, he's a different level, man. He's been a joy to watch. Even with the Nuggets struggling, he's been a joy to watch, man. Definitely been a joy to watch.
One of my favorite players.
Let's keep moving on here.